Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Wonderful to be here with all of you. We have returned. We have returned from the mighty Toronto, in which Taylor Swift is there for 6 nights, doing 6 different concerts. We survived. We made it back in one piece. Welcome, one and all, to the Electronic Gaming Monthly Sweet Coffee Ride. And we are in issue 36 right now, which we can see has Batman Returns on the cover. So that's what prompted the poll about Batman films. I put when I Batman, I watched Tim Burton's 89, Batman Returns, Batman Begins, or Batman and Robin. And you guys right now are at Tim Burton's 89. But some people disagree. We should put Batman the Animated Show in there, says Matt Rubin. Well, we're just doing movies, but I agree. What else we got? Oh, Adam West Batman. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. I can't. It's so embarrassing. Never. That's at the bottom of the barrel. P90, good to see you. I watched the Tim Burton Batman over and over. My brother, love that movie. And Raj says Batman Returns was the first movie I went to the movies with my mom. Both are forever in my heart. That's awesome. Good stories from both of you there. Good to see Cutthroat. Good to see Batstan. All of you guys are doing well. Hopefully, I am ingesting coffee as quick as I can here. We got a big issue ahead of us with Batman Returns on the cover. And Matt says, where are we? Over here. How was the game show? Well, my friend, it was good. It was really good. I've started to cut the video together, which should be this week's video. So I'm excited to show you guys. We spent a lot of time there. We were there. We left super early. We left at 5 in the morning because, again, Toronto is crazy when Taylor Swift is in town and she's there again for 6 days. We didn't know what to expect when we hit Toronto, but all the footage will speak for itself. The show was great. I think you guys will enjoy it. I think you will, for sure. On the cover of Electronic Gaming Monthly number 36, we have Batman Returns. I don't know if they're going to do the movie as well as the video games, but there was a few different versions of Batman Returns for different consoles. Shout out again to Retro Mags. You guys can follow along. There's a link in the description of the video. I am solo. Absolutely. Jay bought all the ETs for Atari sealed. Oof. I would see. I mean, if it was a good price, I would get it sealed. I saw a few boxed ones, but I don't want to spoil anything. But oh my God, it was awesome. As you can tell, my voice is a little hoarse because it was packed wall to wall. We could not barely move near the end. So trying to even communicate with each other was rough. So my voice is a little rough. I apologize. And we got a $2 super chat donation from Raj. Good to see you, you handsome son of a lips. Right back at you, Slick. Appreciate the $2, my friend. And I look like I haven't slept for a week, even though I went to bed at like 8 o'clock last night. Oh, boys, what's going on over here? What's going on? I don't know what's going on. We're going to crack this bad boy open. I went downstairs to my pile of EGMs, and I do not have this one. I wasn't too sure. Again, I really do think some of mine are missing because I certainly remember having this issue. So I'm like, I mean, I don't have a straight run of EGMs by any means, but I do have quite a fair amount. So going forward, I'm going to try and grab the ones I actually do have and bring them to the table here as well. Okay, so I'm sorry that you've been up since 3:30. Yeah, that sucks. I kind of have the opposite Like I get up at 5, but I'm going to bed earlier and earlier, and this is the first year where the daylight savings has really screwed me up. It's really screwed me up. I'm waking up at like 1 in the morning, not getting back to sleep till like 2. It's just rough, man. I don't know what it is. Dreaming about the Matrix online, like what's going on? I saw Super Castlevania 4 in that ad. Let's go back to that. There we go. Our critics talked about us so much, we started ripping them. Oh, cool. So Konami's quoted a bunch of different reviews. That's cool. P90, yeah, I'm aware. Yeah, you're right, buddy. That is some of it. Absolutely. Okay, so here's our table of contents. Let's get into this, guys. I'm super excited. This bad boy is 135 pages of pure EGM goodness. Slam dunk. King Salmon. Jacques, wherever you are, here's King Salmon for you, buddy. Insert coin. So Ed Simrad is back in the editorial position. So obviously they're rotating back and forth. The return of electronic gaming. Oh, the times are changing. I think this is a pretty good way to describe the video game industry and especially the magazines that serve it. While other publications have changed, ranging from key people moving on to major staff overhauls, we here at Sendai, which is their publication, have been growing into a huge family of gaming enthusiasts just like you. In fact, over the past year, we have doubled the number of people that we are bringing you in EGM. I mean, that's great. A bigger staff. And you guys know, as we're going to getting into 32-bit and stuff like that very shortly, that the EGM magazines were thick. They were like Sears catalogs. They were huge, huge. To this end, I'm very pleased to announce the addition of perhaps the best known editors in the industry to the Sendai staff. The names Arnie Katz, Bill Kunkel, interesting, and Joyce Worley need no introduction. They have been writing about video games and computers since the late 70s and launched the first magazine to serve the hobby. Wow. That's interesting. That I didn't know. Very cool. And now we'll edit the brand new multi-format magazine called Electronic Games. Older players will remember a magazine of the same name from back in the Atari 2600 days. The 90s version of Electronic Games should be on store shelves in a few months with Katz, Kunkel, and Worley, not to mention other staff such as world-renowned Game Doctor contributing on a regular basis. The Game Doctor, in addition to gaming's most famous editorial trio, will also have regular columns in EGM and our sister publication, Computer Game Magazine. Amazing. That's good news. The more the merrier. Let's go. Raj says, Jay, when you abandoned us yesterday, I went on a James Bond binge. Well, my friend, I know you're kidding. I did not abandon you. I was working. I was working for you guys for a new video because this is Canada, and I hate to say it, winter's coming, and both Will and I do not like to travel on the highway in the winter. So we might be doing a couple of local stores in town, but apart from that, there might not be another game hunting video until the spring. I assure you, we were working, and you're gonna like the video. I promise you that. My favorite Bond actor is Timothy Dalton. Jet, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good morning. Speaking Moistly is here. Good morning, dude, bro. Hope you guys have a nice big cup of coffee because I certainly could use it. Why introduce electronic games when there already is an EGM, Mega Play, Super NES Buyer's Guide, and Computer Game Review? The folks at Decker Publications will be producing the monthly magazine. They feel that there isn't a good multi-format magazine on the market. And the design, especially for older, mature game players. Okay, so the game magazine they're talking about, which I don't believe I'm familiar with. I'm sure as heck not familiar with the old one, but this is kind of like for the older gamer, which is funny to say, right? In the 90s, they're referring to the older gamers, I guess the 2600 people, the people that were there literally at the beginning of gaming. So that's what that magazine is going to be about. In other news, as you can see, along with this issue of EGM, there are several supplements, and more importantly, our semi-annual Consumer Electronics Show magazine. This time, we have made special arrangements to get the 32-page Consumer Electronics Show magazine to you even earlier than ever before. Last year, we were the first with the full CES coverage in our August issue. This year, we have bumped it up a month. And you're reading this only a couple of weeks after the show. You'll be reading it only a couple of weeks after the show. That's cool. So more staff, I think, in this this magazine just means that their news stories are going to be even quicker. I mean, they already were ahead of their time in terms of bringing news, just breaking stories and stuff like that. Now their staff is bigger. And you guys know, those of you who bought EGM back in the 90s, you'll see as we get into the 32-bit era that they were, again, like Sears catalogs, just absolutely crazy. P90 says, I'm an older gamer. I'm an older gamer too, but these guys are talking about guys that were around from the beginning as adults, I guess. So this time we have made special arrangements to get the 32-page CES magazine to you even earlier than before. I already read that. This is not a partial pre-CES compilation from data from phone calls. The company prepared slides, as you have seen from others. The photos you're looking at were taken over all 4 days from the show. We hope that you'll like the special issue as much as we enjoyed putting it together. While the times are changing for us and ultimately you as the reader, we feel that this change is going to make a major impact on the entire industry. To the end, we would like to paraphrase another popular expression from our rival industry. You lead, follow, or get out of the way. I like that. Ed's got a nice attitude. I dig it. Another $2 super chat from Raj, the Rainmaker. And he says, Aunt Polly sent you this for some coffee at Timmy's over here. I'm guessing, Raj, you don't have Timmy's where you are. I think I know the answer to that, but some people really don't like the taste of Timmy's. I love it. It's my favorite coffee. I'm not a coffee connoisseur by any means. I like what I like, right? And Timmy's is great. Speaking moistly, your grandma really played? That's amazing. That's really cool. I think my uncle was into video games, and in my entire family, that's about it. I'm sad to say. But that's okay. I'm glad to see that you had family members that were into that. What is going on, dear Jay? We love the quote from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas in car radio Flash FM, where our hits are old, but our listeners are older. That's great. Oh, God bless GTA. Oh, did I just close the magazine? I did. Hang on 1 second. I'm waking up over here. That's great. You know what would be cool is to be on the writing team at Rockstar for like pretty much any of the radio stations. Wouldn't that be like a fun gig to have? I would love that, man. Just to sit there and write for any of the stations, like the commercials or any of what the DJs are saying. I think that would be awesome. All right, it's our old letters to the editor, my friends. Are we ready? We ready to rock? So again, Street Fighter 2 taking the main focus right up front. Capcom Street Fighter 2 controller delayed till fall. Yes, so I did look this up, and as soon as I saw the picture of it, I remembered that this did come out. So yeah, so I know that some of us weren't too sure if the actual Capcom Street Fighter controller did come out. It did. Sources at Capcom have informed us that due to production problems, its new 6-button Street Fighter 2 controller has been delayed until the fall. Now, how many of you guys had the Capcom arcade stick? I never ever did. I never had it. I don't think I've ever seen it in real life. Raj, at Starbucks, you have Starbucks, you don't have Timmy's, right? Yeah. Yeah, I had Starbucks yesterday because it was the only coffee around, and my tongue is like raw because there's so much friggin' sugar. I got like this caramel Corretto thing. I feel like my tongue is like been ripped out. Work a 9 to 5, Cutthroat. You got it, buddy. My dad had a ColecoVision, Matt says, so I guess we've been considered as old gamers. Well, I think if you've been around since the very first games, yeah. I mean, I was a kid when Pong was out and when the 2600 was out. Yeah, and that Genesis 6 button, Matt, that controller is friggin' amazing. Sega actually made that one too, so it's super high quality. Street Fighter 2 feedback from Chi Ling from Jersey City, New Jersey. There's actually a city in New Jersey called Jersey City. Fair enough. Thanks for getting us the latest info on Street Fighter 2. One thing that puzzles me, though, and you can best answer it. If the game is already out in Japan and there is very little language translation involved, why is it taking so long in getting here? Wow. Some people, yeah, I mean, this along with Zelda that come out in this year of 1992 were still two of the biggest console releases I can remember. The hype was real. We're moving on to Henry Tran from New York, New York. Of all the magazines, you have the most thorough coverage of Street Fighter 2. There's one thing which nobody has covered yet. What do the bonus stages look like? And we're moving on to Will from Hollywood, Florida. In your April issue, you describe all of the moves in Street Fighter 2 with letters like S, U, and D. I haven't played the game. What do they mean? That's fair. I mean, that's fair. I almost laughed, but that's fair. Letters continue to pour in by the thousands requesting, pleading, and demanding more information about the mega hot Street Fighter 2 Hot Soft. Uh, come here. As mentioned above, the Capcom stick has been delayed. This is very unfortunate for Capcom because, as we predicted months ago, our third party controller manufacturers will have their 6-button sticks out in time for the launch of the cartridge. Make sure to check out our exclusive 32-page Consumer Electronics Show supplement packed with this issue for the names of other controller manufacturers. And I had one. I had one that was an actual arcade board. It was the actual buttons and stick from Champion Edition. I wish I could remember what the company was, but it was a third-party one for the Super Nintendo. I wish I still had it today. Like Yuchi, we were somewhat surprised that the US version of Street Fighter 2 would be coming out in July rather than in June, as the Japanese version is. A few calls got us the reason. It is none other than the Big N sticking its nose in the development of the cart. Sources tell us that Nintendo of Japan had no problem with the Japanese version of Street Fighter 2. Here in the US, it is a completely different story. Nintendo of America had serious problems with the blood in the game. What? Really? Why do I not remember this? What blood? When Blanca does the bite, there's little spurts. I'm sure when you punch somebody, there's little spurts, but it's nothing big. Wow, I don't remember this. Capcom wanted the game as original as possible, but Nintendo had to have it toned down. Since all games have to have the blessing of Nintendo of America, the game had to be sent back for reprogramming. Hence the delay. And the moves you can see, obviously, U and D are up and down and so forth. Oh, yeah, the end screens. Man, so I haven't, P90, I haven't played Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo for a very, very long time. So I'm gonna have to go back and do that and see what they did. When Giles beat up or Ryu's beat up or whatever. And look at this. Who remembers this? The car bonus round in the new Super Nintendo version, as in the new brick bonus stage. They took the car out and put the bricks in. I don't remember that either. Interesting. Jay, when you did not abandon us yesterday, I started downloading some mags from Retro Mags. I felt like I won the lottery. Yeah, they're amazing. So important to preserve our history, the history of gaming, ladies and gentlemen. And Retro Mags is awesome for that. Zelda 4 when? Oh my god. We haven't even got Zelda yet. Or did we? Maybe we did. Yeah, we got Zelda. Zelda just came out a few months ago. I've beaten Zelda 3 in 9 days. From April 17th to the 26th. It was so easy. Especially when they included the map and hints. The hint book gave me all the major secrets away. Dude. Brett from Columbus. Brett, if you're listening, if you're watching, Brett, can you hear me? Brett, it's called a hint book, brother. Don't open it if you don't want hints on the game. I'm not making fun of you, man. My dude, I'm just saying. Why would you look at the hint book? The hint book is different than the instruction book. Anyway, we'll continue with Brent's letter. Brett said, "Why must they ruin the game by giving all the major secrets away? You really jumped on Sega for the Phantasy Star hint book that was in Phantasy Star 2. Shouldn't you do the same for Nintendo? I waited years for this version, and I probably will have to wait even more until the next one. I feel so depressed. I love that game. Do you have any news on Zelda 4? What should I do in the meantime? What game would you suggest?" Oh, this is gold. I almost want to read it again. Oh, Brett Saunders. What's NE North? What's NE in the States, guys? Oh, so good. Guys, it's so good. Exactly. Moistly's got it, nails it on the head here. Then don't look at it. It's called a hint book. Nebraska, thank you, Mr. Rubin. Why does my mic only on StreamYards keep going down? There, I'll put myself farther away from it. There we go. Oh, wow. And I love how, to pick on Brett, just, for fun a little bit. He asks EGM, what game would you suggest for fun? Buddy, you're obviously buying the magazine. Like, just look at the reviews. Anyway, we're going to leave Brett alone from Columbus, Nebraska. And we're going to head on over to Carlos Sanchez from Austin, Texas. What's with Zelda 3? Nintendo promises to bring it out last fall, and then they made me wait 6 months longer. Why? Easy to give them time to print up a tip book and completely destroy the game. Don't they realize that some players actually want to find their own way through the game? Oh my god. Like, is it just me here? Links don't appear. You can't put links into YouTube chat, if you want to click on the Retro Mags link in the description of the live stream, that will take you to Retro Mags, but you can't actually share links. Yeah, this guy, like the entitlement is real, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, well, you guys remember Phantasy Star 2 for Genesis when it came out? There was a novel sized hint book that was bundled. It was shrunk wrap on the back of the game. And I don't know what hint book they're referring to other than the Nintendo Power Player's Guide. Like, I don't know. But it's just like it's called a hint book, man. It's called a hint book. Don't look at it if you don't want hints. Let's see what Ed has to say here. We were surprised and disappointed as you were when we opened up the production Zelda box only to see the map and book. Okay, I don't remember the book that came with the game. So there you go. It appears that Nintendo doesn't want to be bothered with all the phone calls that would come from players who got stuck in the game. Their solution, pack a give a game away hint book in the card. Of course, their comeback is don't look at the hints, but players are only human. Come on, man. I'm against you here, Ed. I don't buy it. If you don't have the willpower to not look at the book, am I right? Do you guys agree with me here? Like, it's a little crazy here. But players are only human, and it's easy to sneak a look when a player gets stuck. Don't expect the fourth in the series to come out for quite some time unless they are working on a new CD-ROM version. I don't remember a map either. But I don't have Link to the Past CIB. I know Earthbound had one. That's why the box was so big. I mean, I don't think maps should count as like cheater guides. They're just maps. I think maps are cool. I don't know. It's funny. And I remember even being a kid and like not wanting to look at the Phantasy Star hint book until I got actually stuck in the game. But I don't know, whatever. Here we go. We got a TurboGrafx CD. That's a nice TurboGrafx CD ad right there. And we could see NEC and Hudson are starting to be a little bit more hip by putting Arizonk as the mascot. So we're upgrading from Bonk to his future relative, Arizonk. Yeah, right? It just adds to the lore of the game. I thought it was awesome. Yeah, and I would put them on the wall and stuff. Whatever game that I was working on at the time would be right there. You just felt cool. Like you felt like it was more than a game. You felt like it was an experience. Like I just love stuff like that. I really do. EGM scooped. Okay, I always read your magazine. And it's fabulous. Your coverage of the Super NES CD-ROM has been impressive, even though the system is still in development. I must confess, though, there is a newly released magazine, and I have to say, their coverage of the Super NES CD-ROM is better than yours. What a sassy bunch of letters this month. Like, why would you take the time to sit there and write this? I guess this is before the internet, right? So trolls love to troll, I guess. I don't know. People love to complain. Why would you take the time to write this in? Is it just me? They had photos of the system and 2 of Nintendo's games for it. The 3D Tetris and F-Zero 2. They even played the games. I know you guys must have known about the games, but why didn't you print anything for them? Says Brian Dagg from Dearborn, Michigan. Oh, Brian. I have a feeling you're about to be torn apart. Yes, we knew about these pictures and the 24-page fanzine that they ran. Here are the details on the pics which they didn't bother to tell you about. Oh, it's an actually letter. All of the U.S. game magazines get the Japanese... What? All of the U.S. game magazines get the Japanese game magazines. Okay. It's a good way for editors to stay on top of news and rumors in Japan. However, some news is sometimes worse than no news. It happens to be that those game photos and the pics of the CD-ROM ran in one of the Japanese magazines earlier this year. When Ed saw them in the Japanese magazines, he freaked out about the same way as you did when you saw them. But he did but he did something that the other guys didn't do. He had the Japanese text translated. Ed's so smart. The text says that the photos are bogus and were made up by the Japanese magazine. Oh. They were examples of what the editors thought the Super Famicom CD-ROM could do. Why didn't they run them anyway? If you read the fine print of every US magazine and Japanese magazine, you will find words to that effect that nothing. Okay, so basically, blah, blah, blah. This is a long winded way to say that it was basically like the National Enquirer version. I never understood why. You guys remember back in the day, like when the Star Wars prequels were coming out, people would make fake trailers. Do you remember this? Remember the fake trailers for Attack of the Clones that had Christopher Walken footage in it and stuff like that? I never understood why people did do stuff like this. To make money, ultimately, I suppose, right? With the magazine, but this Japanese magazine was just making stuff up or speculating. And because North Americans, for the most part, couldn't translate the Japanese text, they just assumed that these were actual real pictures of the Super Nintendo. Never rub another man's rhubarb. That's my horrible, horrible Jack Nicholson. Average Gamer, good morning. Legends Club in full effect. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you got your coffee with you. We got Price Wars. This is from Craig Warnham from Atlanta, Georgia. Craig goes on to say, I'm thinking about buying one of the new 16-bit systems. Both the Genesis and the Super Nintendo seem equal, and I don't know which to get. That is, until I heard that Street Fighter II is coming to the Super NES. Games aside, is it me, or have the system prices been dropping? Should I wait? Will they drop further? The answer is yes. Very observant, Craig. Since last Christmas, the system prices have indeed been dropping. The Super NES, which started out at $200, is now down to $150, and the Sega Genesis has been reduced to $130. As we mentioned in the past, this year is a system year. Both Sega and Nintendo and TDI, which is the new branding of TurboGrafx, are doing everything they can to get the players who have the old NES to upgrade to the 16-bit systems. Nintendo and its licensees started in January to wow the players with their upcoming Super Hot games. I'm sticking with Super Hot Softs. Sega has decided to take a pass on the first 6 months and start the push during the second half of the year. Will the prices come down even further? Most likely. Come around September when the heavy-duty shopping starts, expect the price battles to continue. Could the systems get below $100 like the TurboGrafx? It's possible. We have seen in our travels to Japan that the Mega Drive, the Japanese Genesis, selling for 9,800 yen, which is about 75 US dollars in the past, without a pack-in cartridge. Well, well, well. There you go. Did Mutron come in? Did I miss him? I don't see him. Did I miss him up here? Maybe I did. It's time to wake up. Did anyone ever see the Brad Pitt Thundercats trailer? See, that's what I mean. No. But I believe you. I guess you could say, in the modern times, it's for clicks on YouTube. But I mean, you need a lot of kicks, a lot of clicks to make any kind of revenue. Do you know what I mean? Substantial revenue for it to be worth your time, I would suspect. I just don't understand. Like, help me understand this, guys. I don't understand the ultimate goal. And let me also take it a step further and say this wasn't the Attack of the Clones trailer. This wasn't someone speculating, making a fan trailer, making their own speculation. These were people that said, "Oh, this is the new Episode 2 trailer." Obviously called Episode 2 because Attack of the Clones hadn't been revealed yet. I guess I just don't understand the point of it. Yeah, Mutron's not here. Willie is definitely not here. But that's all good. Everyone said the Legends Club. I mean, you never really leave, right? You never really leave. You're here in spirit. The boys are here in spirit. Sonic 2 when? By Andy Barnkowitski Leps from Toronto, Canada. Toronto, Ontario, but that's all right. Clearly, the best game ever made for the Genesis was Sonic the Hedgehog. The only problem with it was too short and it was too easy. You have been talking about a sequel for some time now. Is there any more information on Sega's 16 meg wonder? Well, Andy, I completely disagree with you. Sonic sucks. I'm sorry. Sonic 1 was good. Sonic 2 was good. I'm good with the rest, though. Sega has been quite secretive about the Mega Hot sequel, with the Consumer Electronics Show just days away as we go to press. The best info on this card has Sonic now with a mysterious buddy. Who's the mysterious buddy, guys? Who has two tails? Sonic still moves at warp speed, even in reverse. Sonic can travel through time, and his journey will span from the prehistoric era where dinosaurs roam to what machine-controlled future. The evil Dr. Robotnik is back, and he has a new batch of nasty creatures. As Quarterman stated a few months ago, this card is 16 meg, and this means more levels and more enjoyment. The Genesis card is scheduled for a November release, and the Game Gear version in December. Photos weren't available before the Consumer Electronics Show, but check out our exclusive coverage on this card in our special 32-page CES magazine, packed in with this very issue. I don't know, guys. Sonic 2. I mean, Andy, he's a fellow Canadian. He's basically saying that Sonic is the best Genesis game ever. Although, by his own words, he also does say that it's too short and it's too easy. I don't know if the best game of all time is an easy one. You got to have some level of challenge, right? I don't know. Sonic 2 was my first Sonic game. I liked it. Yeah, 1 and 2 were pretty good. They're pretty good. Listen, you know what the problem was? Sega attacked Mario. And I think the problem with that was not in the way that the characters looked from each other, because they're vastly different, but because he attacked Mario, I expected something to rival Mario's gameplay, and Sonic does not do that. Sonic is completely different, right? It is a platformer, yes, but it's not like Mario. I think that was the problem. So, like, Mario to me, well, like that game controls flawlessly, right? Sonic is very weighty. Sonic is it feels very, I don't want to say lazy, but he doesn't stop on a dime like Mario can. Do you know what I mean? So I think if Sega had not attacked Mario, I might have warmed up a little bit more to it. But I remember playing Sonic, loved the music, loved the graphics, the colorful design. It was cool. But always thinking, yeah, this is not even close to Super Mario World. Like, it's not even in the same league. You know what I'm saying? Sonic 2 is greater than Sonic 2. Oh man. That's a good one. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Sonic 2 is pretty pretty something. Raj with the 2. Aunt Polly is cooking some rhubarb today, Jay. Rhubarb. Really? Okay. Did you know, Raj, that we used to have rhubarb in our garden? We did, which was dangerous because from what I understand, if pets consume rhubarb, it's not good. And we always had dogs. I don't know. Thank you for the 2, my friend. Much love, Tia. We're going to continue on. Who's on first? From Brendan Myers from Hartford, Connecticut. I think that's what CT is. Watching grass grow is greater than Sonic, says Speaking Moistly. I watched streaming of the newest Sonic game. I don't even know what it's called. It looked okay. But again, my problem with it is that it's a lot of you just watching things happen as opposed to actually controlling the character. I don't know. It's again, I keep harping on it, and I'm not trying to convince anybody that Sonic's bad. I'm not, because you like what you like, and that's just totally fine. Just for me, it's comparing it to Mario is it's not even in the same ballpark. It's not even the same effing sport. You know what I'm saying? You guys are always tackling the tough questions that the readers send in. Here's an easy one for you. Doesn't Konami make the Bill Elliott NASCAR Challenge game? What? It is hard to keep track these days with different companies getting the rights to the same game on different systems, but I thought it was Konami rather than Capcom. Also, while I have your attention, was your Revenge of Double Dragon June issue the same as Super Double Dragon reported by another magazine in July? Why did they say that they had the first photos? God, people, eh? That was Brendan Myers from Hartford, Connecticut. You're right. It's an easy question, Brendan. Brendan, wait till you get to the future. Wait till you get like 5 years down the road, buddy. And we start talking about the James Bond license. Your head's going to spin as to who owns the Bond license. It's Rare. Then it's Activision. No, then it's EA. Then it's Activision. Then it's EA with a hint of Activision, but Rare still can use GoldenEye. Oh, I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. Den with the gifted membership. I don't have my sound effects, but dun, 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 dun. Congrats to Scuba Pete, our old buddy Scuba Pete, who got the membership. Thank you very much, Den, for that. Where were we here? We've been in the magazine business for some time now, and there are a couple of things that really make you look bad. First, don't make obvious dumb mistakes. In the editor's column, if the editor can't get the right game matched up with the right company, how does that reflect on the rest of the magazine? We've had a few errors in EGM, okay? We've had a few errors. I'm just saying, no one's perfect here. And how does that reflect in your magazine? And second, when the head honcho of a major company is in the picture, at least get the company's name right. Errors happen, and due to the hectic business we are in, a zero error mag is an impossibility. But we all try to keep problems to a minimum. Revenge of Double Dragon is the Japanese name from the game. Trade West changed that to Super Double Dragon in the US. And yes, despite the never before seen and first look hype, we did run the picks a month before. Of course you did. And in North America, Nintendo was really hitting it home with the Super. There was like Super at the beginning of every single game almost that was a sequel to one that was on the NES, and it was a smart move, smart marketing move. Kind of like what they did with 64, how 64 was like at the end of every single title. Smart move. This is actually a dark roast. That's amazing you just said that. It's Tim Hortons, the Keurig K-Cup, however you say it. That's all it is. Nothing fancy. I just take mine black. Except, like I said yesterday, I had, oh my God. We'll save that for a second. I had Starbucks, and I thought I would treat myself to some sweet goodness. And I had a caramel Corretto. And guys, the side of my tongue is like all swollen. You know when you have too much acidity? Yeah, that's what I'm going through over here. That's what I'm going through. Look at this beautiful page. Here we are with the review crew. Look at this. Almost perfect. We have Street Fighter 2 side by side with Turtles 4. Oh, it is glorious. Look at these high scores. I love it. So who do you guys want me to read besides Steve? We'll end the poll at Tim Burton 89. Nobody picked Batman and Robin. That was almost just kind of like a joke. So we will read Steve, and we will read Ed, Martin, or Sushi X. You choose. So, Steve, what has Steve been up to? Well, Steve, now that he has his what? I don't know what that is. Does anybody know what that word is that's reading along? Now that Steve has his, I don't know what that is. Steve is happier than a clam. 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. Wow. If its wing was any larger, it would fly. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Is this the first 10? I don't know. I don't know if this is the first 10. Oh, it's a Lamborghini? Oh, okay. Okay. Appreciate that. Yeah, I had no idea. Okay, we're going to end the poll. We'll end it after I read Steve. So, our first game, ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here. It's finally home. Street Fighter II: The World Warrior for the Super Nintendo by Capcom. Steve gives it a 9. The long awaited home translation of Street Fighter II is packed as a nearly perfect translation of the arcade masterpiece. All the moves, graphics, gameplay, and sounds are rolled into a 16 meg cartridge that will do anything but disappoint fans of the arcade original or fighting games in general. Awesome. This game would have got a 10 back in the day from me. I forgot about the blood thing. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to me. Nintendo can censor whatever they want. You can agree. You cannot agree. In a game like this, it didn't affect it because I don't even remember this. This isn't like Mortal Kombat. So I don't care if they make the blood sweat. All that matters to me in Street Fighter 2 is how it plays. You want to do the Bond. Okay, we've done this one before, but we can certainly do it again. So let's put that up for Raj. I feel like we've done this one a few times. Okay. Who's your favorite James Bond actor? Connery, Moore, Dalton, or Bronson? Is it Brosnan? Brosnan. Dalton, Moore, or Connery? Okay. No Lazenby, eh? There you go for Raj. Pick out of those 4 bonds. And I know there's going to be the hipster that wants Lazenby. I don't think I've ever seen on Her Majesty's Secret Service or whatever it's called. Have you guys seen that one? George Lazenby, he was only in the 1. See, there you go. I knew it. Hey, people call me a hipster for thinking Dalton's the best. So you have every right to like whoever you want, my friend. Yeah, 9s and 10s. Panel has the best scores at the EGM. Yeah, I think we got some really good stuff here. Oh yeah, who won? Sushi X. Okay. Sushi X gives Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior a 10. Phenomenal. Awesome. The best. Street Fighter 2 is the only game I've ever seen that really deserves a 10. Superb graphics, animation, no flicker, no slowdown, great music, arcade gameplay, and let's face it, no game has ever compared to this smash hit in the arcades until now. Only Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition could do better. 10. Amazing. Look at that. Isn't that just, I love it. So no one, well, out of those two, they didn't mention anything with the blood or any of that stuff. Batman Animated would have won the poll, yes, but I was doing just movies. I would agree with you. That show was fantastic. All right, Turtles 4, Turtles in Time by Konami for the Super Nintendo. So Steve gives it a 9. Quite honestly, the best side-scrolling action game to appear on the Super Nintendo so far. This game is perfectly presented and executed with flawless detail. Besides virtually duplicating the arcade title, Turtles 4 also delivers some of the best graphics you'll ever find at home. A truly great game that's a tad easy. Okay, fair. Who remembers Turtles in Time? Probably, you guys know we love the Konami box art here. Probably one of the best Super Nintendo box arts in history. Love it. Love it. And Sushi X gives it a 9 as well. Turtles in Time is another conversion masterpiece. If the scaling were better, it might have gotten a 10. 3 cheers to Konami for getting their programmers in line for the game, and the smooth gameplay, arcade graphics, and a cool versus mode make Turtles 4 a Super NES hit to look out for. Happy, happy. So, fun fact that like Turtles 4 back in the day, as you guys remember, was so big. It was a huge game. I never owned that game. And I'm trying to figure out why. Yeah, see, yeah, there you go. See, I think I'm with P90 here. I rented it quite a few times too, and I thought it was fantastic. I never owned it. Yeah, I never owned it either. Same with the Hyperstone Heist on Genesis, which was basically the same game with a few tweaks. Yeah. P90 says it was a good time to be a gamer. Maybe the two best fighting games in their own genre replicated perfectly from the arcade. They both look good again today. Yeah. It was 92 was a banger year and exciting because we see like the biggest game in the world was Street Fighter 2. We got a really excellent port of it. You could still see the difference. You could tell the difference, but it was pretty close. Do you know what I mean? So we're getting closer to replicating the arcade, but we're still not there yet, which was such a sweet spot in gaming history because there was still a reason to go to the arcade. And Capcom was smart by putting only the World Warrior on console, so it was on Super, and then having Champion Edition in the arcade. Well, now you can, now you can play the bosses, but you have to go to the arcade still. And yeah, 92 was the best year. It was amazing because there was still a reason to go to those arcades. And then you could go home and practice World Warrior. You couldn't use the bosses, but it was still great. Sushi X gives Turtles 4 a 9. Turtles in Time is another conversion masterpiece of this game. I already read that. What do you want from me? I'm a one-man show over here. Cosmic Fantasy. What the hell is Cosmic Fantasy? Cosmic Fantasy 2 by Working Designs. I don't remember this. Oh, Turbo Graphics. That's some pretty bad artwork. I'm sorry. I don't like that artwork. It wasn't Sushi X a combination of like a bunch of different editors? I can't remember the lore behind Sushi X. It's time to wake up. Trolling with the Rise of the Robots and Balls 3D and better than Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. You forgot to add Kasumi Ninja for the Jaguar. Come on, if we're going hipster, let's go. Way of the Warrior by Naughty Dog for the 3DO. Come on, man. Come on. Let's go. Super Bowling for the Super Nintendo. This one's dedicated to P90 by American Technos. Oh, it's mostly Ken Williams. That's right. Thank you. So Super Bowling gets a 7 from Steve. If you're going to make a video adaptation of bowling, this is about as close as you can get to making it entertaining. Super Bowling gives you a wide range of options that include player selects and attributes, but goes even further by tossing trick games into the carts. Very well executed play mechanics. Good for a fun good for a fun time. Good for a fun time. Good for a fun time. Okay, well, Sushi X also gives it a 7. Not bad, but not the best. I will expect some really good games in the future now that the Super NES programming is getting better. The graphics are good, but the Mode 7 effects aren't the smoothest in the world. I would have liked to see more game variations to keep my interest past 2 or 3 games. Still, it is good. Nah, never played it. Now, Super Bowling on the Nintendo 64, the Blockbuster exclusive. Now we're talking. All right, NCAA basketball by HAL America for the Super NES. 8. There you go. College basketball. Kicking it up a notch. Average Gamer says, who remembers Consumers Distributing? That's where I got my copy of Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Yeah, do you remember that Genesis got Champion Edition, then Super got Super Turbo, and Super Street Fighter? Wait, were all versions on Super Nintendo except Champion Edition, right? Super Nintendo never got Champion Edition. Then there was 5 total versions of Street Fighter 2. Legit ones. Yeah, Wii Sports was awesome. Yeah, Consumers was great. You guys know my heartache stories. Always looking for that Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker all donned in black. Seeing that in the Christmas catalog, going to Consumers, which felt like almost every weekend. No release dates existed back then for toys whatsoever, but my mom and I went to the Consumers. There's a standalone store. I don't remember where it was, but I do remember in White Oaks Mall, there was a Consumers. I think there's a skateboard shop there now, if I remember correctly. Anyway, we would fill out the little form with the SKU number for Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi, hand it in. The clerk would go into the back for 45 years, come back out empty-handed. I'm sorry, Mrs. Bartlett. This toy has not been released yet. Cue Price is Right. Fail music. There we go. Yeah, the little blue pencils. Yeah, exactly. It's Time to Wake Up says there was a pretty fun bowling arcade cabinet at my local bar back in the day. Do you remember what the game was? Cutthroat says Dragon Strike looks good. I'd rather play Dragon Strike than a boring bowling game. Just saying, Jay Bartlett. Jeez. Dragon Strike. Oh, that one. That's for the NES. Yeah. Okay, well, let's get on to NCAA first. 8 from Steve. This game provides owners of the Super NES an absolutely incredible, in-your-face basketball simulation that not only takes full advantage of the system's Mode 7 scaling and rotation, but also puts up a decent game of b-ball to boot. A laid-back approach that always remains realistic makes this card a blast in my book. And then Sushi X also gives it an 8. This is innovation in the making. I'll bet that if HAL America makes a sequel to this, it will be even better. The graphics are a little choppy, but the all-new perspective incorporating full field scaling is very impressive. If you are really into basketball, but don't feel like you're, sorry, it's cut off here, on the court for most games, check this one out. Dragon Strike. Cutthroat, this game looks like Aunt Connie's old bathwater. Look at this thing. I mean, hey, you guys know I'm not a slave to graphics, but come on. Maybe it's just the screenshot they picked. Moistly says Jordan vs. Bird. Best b-ball game. Wrong. You're all wrong. That bad boy right there. NBA Jam Tournament Edition is the best basketball game. Hands down. You can unlock the Beastie Boys, for God's sakes. Anyway, Dragon Strike by FCI for the Nintendo Entertainment System. 5. Although this game is not exactly what you might expect, the game's theme and overall goals do provide a few thrills. In general, however, the graphics and gameplay fall short, even with a wide variety of options thrown in throughout the action. It's not a totally lacking. Whoa. It's not a totally lacking product, mind you. I just wish they had packed in more. And Sushi X gives it a 6. This would be a better game all around about 2 years ago. Sushi with the sass. The graphics are good for 8-bit, but the music is hard to swallow after a while. Okay. The gameplay is not bad either. Dragon Strike somehow just doesn't strike my fancy as a hot, up and coming title. I think I've ever seen that. What? I think I've seen this game multiple times before. Okay, so it's a top down shooter. Blah, blah, blah. I get it. Aunt Connie's old bathwater. Oof. Who's going to buy that? You guys? Should that be a membership perk? There's your Super Bowling ad right there. Mr. Gimmick. What the hell is Mr. Gimmick? Mr. Gimmick. Buy, we love Sunsoft. Buy Sunsoft for the NES. And I got a request here. If P90 is still in there, I know we're talking about Ninja Gaiden 3 that may or may not happen. The challenge with that. What about Batman by Sunsoft, P90? That's a good one. Same style as Ninja Gaiden, whatever you want. Okay. Oops. Easy. 5. Here's a game with a cool theme that could have been explored in 100 different ways. Instead, it's a repetitive attempt at an action game with difficulty that is obviously geared towards the Wii sprites. Kids' games don't have to be completely lacking, however. The more time could have made this one a wiener. 5. Oh, Silver Strike Bowling. Okay, I'm going to have to look that up. I was curious who makes these games, especially when they're games I haven't heard of. Well, let's maybe do Ninja Gaiden 3 first, P90. Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll have to see this week. I never did beat Batman, my friend. My buddy Skylar did. He owned it. I never owned Batman, but it was hard. It was hard. We got a 4 from Old Sushi X. Guy's Place, welcome on in. I love these magazines. EGM and GamePro spent hours on these over and over. Yeah, dude. Well, we do this every single Sunday on my channel here. We've started from issue 1, and we are now on issue 36, July 1992. So welcome. Welcome to the Legends Club, my friend. We are glad you are here. So Sushi X with Mr. Gimmick says, Mr. Gimmick is one of those games that the kiddies can relate to. The levels are nicely detailed for an NES game, but with only 5 levels, the variety just isn't there. The music is kind of catchy, but wears thin after a while. The game plays rather well, however. Score would have been higher. It wasn't so easy. Well, if it's a kid's game. What the hell is Dragon Sphere? Is this not Devil's Crush? I'm skipping ahead. Matt Rubin with the 1 gifted membership. Let's go, buddy. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And congrats to Jesse, who is back in the Legends Club. So you get that notification. Thank you, Matt. Slime World, which was a system seller actually on the Atari Lynx, if I remember correctly. This is by Renovation. This version of Slime World is for the Sega Genesis. 4. Ooh, look at the difference here. Okay, if we're going to read Steve's at a 4. And Sushi X is at an 8. See, that's why I love EGM. I want to know why. Steve says, I was never a real fan of the original Lynx version of the Search and Destroy cartridge, so it goes without saying that the Genesis version fell far from tripping any triggers. Although the presentation is slightly better on the small screen version, the overall missions is the same and, in my opinion, remains awkward and flat. 4. And we're going to flip that over to Sushi X, who gives it an 8. All right. Another cool adventure maze game that is out for the Genesis. Lynx players will recognize this title, but Slime World will always. Okay, sorry. Lynx players will recognize this title, but Slime World was always destined for the big time. It's getting so that no matter what system you own, your favorite game will appear on it anyway. Slime World is a solid game filled with secrets and I'm cut off. Surprises. Who's played Slime World? I still have yet to play it. Again, portables were never my thing, but I do appreciate the links. Shout out to the Atari links, ladies and gentlemen. Cutthroat says, I'd rather play Dragon's Fury than Slime World or Mr. Gimmick. Come on, that's a no-brainer. Dragon's Fury. I'd rather play with Aunt Connie's bathwater than Dragon's Fury. Oh wait, no. Dragon's Fury is good. That's Devil's Crush. I was thinking of Dragon's Strike. My bad. We're gonna read this, but Dragon's Fury is a pinball game with a few special twists. I mean, this screen is from Devil's Crush for the TurboGrafx, so I think this is a rename. Label slapping, as they call it in the Toy Biz. Like other video pinball games that have appeared in the past, Fury provides the usual assortment of targets to destroy and point incentives to rack up. The game also succeeds in offering bonuses that the real things can't offer, like changing backdrops, bonus rooms, and changing playfields. A nice game for pinball fans. Excuse me. Okay, I'm just looking. Does this say anything about this being Devil's Crush? It doesn't. Weird. Okay, maybe Sushi says something about that. I'm just skimming to see if anyone does. Okay, 7 from Sushi. Besides the obvious demonic symbolism strewn everywhere, Dragon's Fury is a great pinball game for the Genesis. The hidden bonus stages and modern music are just what every gamer looks for in a jam and pinball title. Again, many gamers will recognize this game of another name, but it has its Genesis flair. Why don't they just say it's Devil's Crush? I wonder why. It's so weird. It's like they don't want to name drop Devil's Crush. Matt says, I've played Slime World. Oh, I've never played Slime World. I think the first time I ever heard of it was in EGM reviews you and Willie did. Yeah, and you know what would be really awesome? If they made like an Atari Lynx compilation for like all major systems. I would really like that. Wait a minute. Does that Atari Lynx 50th or the Atari 50th anniversary? I can't remember if that has Lynx games on it. I know it has Jag games on it, but that would be something I would definitely look into and pick up for sure. Side Pocket. We got a pool game now by Data East for the Genesis. Let's go. 7 from Steve. This was one of my favorite NES games when it was originally released, although the gameplay has remained intact through the transfer onto the Genesis. Not a lot of improvements either. Not a totally bad point, but I wish Data East would have spiced things up a little more than they did. Good pool sim nonetheless. Good morning, Mo. Happy Sunday to you. And then Sushi X gives it an 8. As a very big billiards fan, Side Pocket went under a very critical. Sorry, that it's kind of blurred here. Hang on. Side Pocket went under a very critical eye by this reviewer for glitches and bugs. The only problem I could find with Side Pocket is that you can only aim the cue at a limited number of angles. Otherwise, you have more than enough games and challenges to keep your interest. Joy, joy. Falcon for the TurboGrafx 16 by TurboTech. So the in-house development company. Yikes. Yes, a good simulator Falcon game for the TurboGrafx 16 and other good one for the TurboGrafx 16 console. Have you never played this? Give me a break. Come on, have you? Falcon? Whoever talks about Falcon? No, nobody. No one has ever said, you know what? My favorite flight game is Falcon. Well, except you just did, but besides that. Oddly enough, dude, I have the Falcon manual for whatever reason. Isn't that weird? I found it like in all my game magazines, as separating them and whatnot. I found the Falcon game manual, like the little insert for it. Weird. Steve gives it a 4. You can duplicate the look and feel of a flight sim and expect it to fit into a tiny cartridge without cutting a lot of corners. In addition to slicing away many of the more complex features, you can't. In addition to slicing away many of the more complex features, the control and overall interaction between player and game has become even more awkward. Some games should not be attempted. And we got a $2 super chat from Raj, the Rainmaker, making our Sunday just that much more brighter. Thank you, my friend. The place was too dry, Jay. Boom. And we got a 5 from Sushi X on Falcon. Falcon is an okay game with an okay theme. The main problem is that there is not enough play mechanics to really get me excited. There isn't sufficient action up in the sky, and where there wasn't enough. The graphics are about average, but they could have been much better with just a little extra effort. So Falcon sucks. There you go. Moving on to a Neo Geo soft, a hot soft at that. We have Last Resort. Did anybody play Last Resort? I did. Loved it. Last Resort by SNK for the Neo Geo. I don't think the review crew liked it so much over here, guys. Steve gives it a 5. Last Resort is a great game that is packed with fantastic graphics and some jammin' sounds. The general animation and color is fantastic in many areas of the game. What plagues this title for being a killer addition to the shooter library is gameplay that slows to a virtual standstill. 52 megs is a terrible thing to waste. Indeed. And Sushi agrees with the 5. Bad move, guys. Last Resort has some of the greatest still shots I've ever seen in a shooter. Oof, shots fired. The details are great, but the slowdown. Last Resort slows down everywhere. And on a 24-bit machine, this is an atrocity. Especially if you are paying big bucks for this supposed superior game that turned 8 into a 5 in SNK. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I don't mind slowdown once in a while. But if we go back in time to 1992 and you were fortunate enough to be able to afford a Neo Geo, you don't want slowdown. I mean, come on, especially if you're boasting to be a 24-bit system, a Super Nintendo and Genesis killer, blah, blah, blah. I kind of see where they're coming from. Oh, here it is. It won't go away. It won't go away. No hands auto fire for the laziest of all gamers. You know what really bugs me when I play video games? Having to hit buttons. Ah, damn. Ain't that a lick in the lips? I don't want to press buttons. Well, we got you covered with the stealth. No hands, auto fire. 12 shots a second. That's what she said. Arcade fire buttons, 12-foot long cable, full size stick. And slow motion. American flag controllers. It's supposed to look like the stealth bomber P90. This thing sucks. This makes Bishu look like the golden controller of our lives. Good morning, K-Mac. What's going on? High-tech systems, where are you now, my friends? Hopefully making a better controller. Adventure Island, Willie, this one's for you, wherever you are. Adventure Island by Hudson Soft for the Game Boy. 7. Steve says, I like the way the game plays, and I have to commend Hudson on doing an admirable job of duplicating the look and feel of the successful series on the Game Boy. The action is familiar as well as the quest, but as a take-along action game, it's a little bit... this game has a little bit of adventure for every action fan. Okay, so it's pretty good. You know what? When these guys give 7s, it's like that's the average score. Do you know what I'm saying? Where 5 should be the average, but they keep giving like average scores 7s. I don't know. Good morning, Dale. How are you, my friend? You know what really grinds my gears? These stealth controllers. Mo says there should be an autoplay option if you can't be bothered to press the buttons. No. What's next? Are you tired of using your eyes? Is it really getting you down having to look at that screen? We got you covered here at Stealth Controllers with auto eyes. We hold your eyelids open for you. I don't know. Sushi says, yay, Adventure Island on the Game Boy. He hates the Game Boy. We know that. So this is sarcasm, no doubt. This black and white title has some really good gameplay and music, but the graphics still blur too much. I feel that this is a problem. The problem is too severe for any programmer to deal with. Let's wait for a color Game Boy, please. These great titles are being massacred by the black and white Game Boy. What's that? Mad Catz controllers are the greatest controllers. It's time to wake up, says analog. Oh, remember analog stick drift? Dude. It's real. It's real. Mad Catz were the worst. I was at EB during the height of the Mad Catz craze. Oh, the Mad Catz craze. Moving on to Aerial Assault by Sega for the Game Gear. Another low-scoring title. 4 from Steve. This is definitely substandard shooting action in my book. Not only is the onslaught of invaders Aerial Assault presents repetitive and not very interesting, they also don't present much in the way of a real challenge. This is completely straightforward with no bonus techniques or risk incentives to speak of. Boring. Huh. 5 from Sushi X. Average. After all the great titles I've seen this month, I believe my standards have gotten a little higher. Aerial Assault is a decent game for a road trip or a quick break, but it's not brainbuster material by far. The graphics are okay, but the action isn't really fast-paced or exciting. Look for better titles in the future. You like Game Boy? Do you? I believe you're with the mass majority of the population who loved a Game Boy. I did not. I'm sorry. I did not. I couldn't. And for all the reasons that Sushi issue after issue keeps bringing up, the screen blurring for games like Adventure Island, for games like Super Mario Land, I couldn't do. I just couldn't do. But hey, there you go. That's what makes the world go around. Link's Casino by Atari for the Atari Lynx. 6. There's not much you can fault in this game. If you want to do some video game what? If you want to do some video game bling, then the Lynx has got you covered. Plenty of variety in the games and a number of important options are addressed. What? What does that even mean? Personally, these types of games get repetitive quickly, but if you're in for a Las Vegas adventure, then go for it. Nah, no thanks. Not for me. The only casino I like is in San Andreas. I'm just saying. Are you a hardcore gambling fan? Do you like betting all on a long shot? If so, the Lynx Casino is for you. I can see Sushi's doing an ad here for that, which is nice. Lynx Casino takes some of the hottest Las Vegas games and puts it in your hands. In fact, the ingenious programming of Atari even went too far and added humorous what? I can't pronounce that word. Throughout the game, joy. What is that word on the bottom? I don't know. Whatever. Jay, wait, the second Game Gear had color graphics. How come that didn't blow away the Game Boy? Messed the piece of gaming history. Well, it just goes to show that it's really all about the games, Raj. For me, I think for most people too, the gameplay always trumps graphics, and I think that Nintendo just had way too many licensees. They just killed it. Have you ever seen this when you've been game hunting? Sega. Oh yeah, lots of times. Oh, it's anecdotes. Okay. Thanks, buddy. My reading's not so good over here sometimes. Where would we be without Matt, the dictionary tracker, Ruben? Matt, tracker, Ruben. What did someone call you the other day? Someone gave you another nickname. I forget what it was. When we were playing GTA on Friday, someone called you something else. It's kind of funny. Yeah, it's all about the games. Right. So, I mean, we're kind of seeing that in this current generation, right? With PlayStation 5 and Series X. There's not a ton, not like in generations past. But again, you can have the best graphics of all time. And if your gameplay is not there, who cares, right? Oh, yeah, Matt Wick. Thanks to Raj. Yeah, that was good. Speaking of Raj, let's go over to our poll here. And I said the best Bond. Pierce Brosnan, Timothy Dalton, Roger Moore, or Sean Connery. Dalton got 0. You're all fired. What an injustice. Sean Connery, what a shock. Sean Connery is not only the worst Bond, he just sucks. Oh, but he's good in Last Crusade. No, he's not. Worst Bond ever. Just saying. All right, let's see what comes out in July of 1992. For the NES, we got Darkwing Duck. If you guys remember Darkwing Duck by Capcom, it's friggin' sweet. Around here, Cutthroat, we don't say what. We say pardon. I just don't like Sean Connery, man. I'm sorry. It's just a personal preference. That's all it is. I don't think he's the best Bond by a long shot. I really don't. I think Roger Moore is way better, first off. If you're going with the big two. Do I have a favorite Bond girl, henchman, Bond car, Bond gadget? We were theme music. Yeah, we were talking about Oliver. We were talking about Sheena Easton the other day on Friday. She sings For Your Eyes Only. And yeah, I've always thought that she's just like super pretty and had a huge crush on her back in the day. I don't think she was an actual Bond girl, but I'm not the Bond expert. If Josh was here, he'd be able to tell us. But I love that theme song. The car, the underwater car, man. I guess that's Lotus's Spree. Actually, Dalton is lame. Didn't even like Sean Connery in Highlander, having a Scott play a Spaniard and having a Frenchman play a Scot. Yeah, that's that other guy who plays Raiden in the first Mortal Kombat. I don't know his name. I'm sure you guys will. No. Just a lot of things that Connery has said over the years are really I don't like. It's just my personal preference. But that personal stuff aside, Bond wise, I truly think he's one of the worst. Christopher Lambert, yeah. His best role was Raiden in Mortal Kombat 1. Speaking Moisey says Roger Moore, Dalton, and Brosnan are the best Bonds. Yeah, I like Pierce. Pierce is great. Actually, I will say I think Daniel Craig is the worst. Daniel Craig, I think, is the worst. I don't think he's very charismatic. He's more Rambo-ish. But I mean, I've only seen Casino Royale, and I think I saw another one with him. I didn't like him. Like when I think of traditional James Bond, what James Bond looks like overall, Pierce Brosnan is the first thing that pops into my head. I think he's like, but personality wise, it's Dalton for sure. He's just so smooth, man. And as we can see here, back to gaming, that we have Street Fighter 2, of course, coming out this month. Very monumental. Genesis, what do we got coming out? Tasmania, I remember that. Slime World, Wheel of Fortune, yeah, nothing too huge. Neo Geo, we got King of the Monsters 2. Master System, nothing will be released this month. The TurboGrafx says Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu, which was fun, and Lords of the Rising Sun. Do I like Highlander? No, not really. Guy's Place says, I worked at a call center for a hotel resort and spoke to Christopher Lambert, but don't know how I kept my composure. I guess he's so chill. Didn't really hit me till later. That's cool. That's cool, mate. So you obviously knew it was him like right away. I guess you would have to say his name, right? That's pretty cool. I've been nervous around a few celebs. Yeah. A few big ones. Speaking moistly, yeah, that's the interview that I was kind of referencing. I don't know. I mean, I know it's from a different time. I just don't roll with that kind of thing, man. Okay, we are here. And I'm not saying you do. Let's make that clear. I'm just saying I didn't agree with Connery's outlook on that. That's all I'll say. Oh, he had to spell out his name, and he was speaking French. I had no idea he was French. I had no idea he was French. Wow. Because his English is so good. Yeah. I thought you know what? And you can make fun of me. That's fine. I best know him as Raiden from Mortal Kombat, because I'm not a huge Highlander person, but good morning, Rock the Casbah. How you doing? What is up? Welcome to the read. Hope you have your coffee with you. You're chilling. We're here at the gaming gossip portion of Electronic Gaming Monthly, which is wrote by, of course, Quarterman. The one and only, the legendary Quarterman. So because I'm one man showing it today, we're not going to read this whole thing, as my voice is already starting to give. So we're going to pick and choose here. Let's pick, I don't know, this one. In new gaming news, the Quarterman has finally dug up the first solid info on the super sequel we've been waiting for. Sonic 2 hits the Genesis with a whole new adventure, time-traveling action, and a special friend who helps out when the going gets tough. Check out EGM's special Consumer Electronics Show wrap-up for the first pictures of this dynamic new title. Look for the original Terminator to appear on the Super NES soon. No, not courtesy of Acclaim. Sorry, not courtesy of Acclaim, who will deliver Terminator 2, or Virgin, who will give us the Sega CD-ROM translations. This time we get to see Arnie hit the 16-bit seam from the folks at Software Toolworks. Oh my God, I haven't thought about that company since probably 1992. Who remembers Software Toolworks? There's a developer no one talks about. Also looked for Software Toolworks to bag Mel in a high action version of The Road Warrior, which I don't remember if that ever did come out. I don't remember. Okay, we'll do one more from Quarterman here, and then we're going to move on. 2 bits of gossip news from the front lines of Sega. First and foremost is the news that the execs who founded Frogger have decided to end their battle with the inventor who took the rest of the industry to the bank for millions. Sega balked, however, and the full-blown legal hassles left the judgment in the favor. Oh my God, Quarterman, the way you word things is killing me today, buddy. Sega balked, however, and the full-blown legal hassles left the judgment in favor of the inventor to the tune of 40 plus million. Good call, Sega, especially when you could have bought your way out of the mess for a measly couple of million bucks. Here's a bit of gossip that comes from a guy who only comes out at night. Sources close to the Q-Man have indicated that Sega is hard work on an add-on that will give the Genesis full shooter status and a whole new line of light gun games. Who cares? Sounds like you're scoping Nintendo's bazooka, Sega. While the Q-Meister knows it's hard, you should really pass it up. Yeah, that would be the Sega Menacer. Remember that thing? The Sega Menacer, yeah. I don't know why, after the 8-bit era, all these 16-bit companies turned their guns into like bazookas. The Super Scope and the Menacer was like a weird sci-fi looking thing. Like, I don't get it. I don't know why they did that. Strange. EGM Express Sega CD-ROM will sell for $299 US. 3 CDs included with the system. Awesome stuff. Some people love the Sega CD. Some people hate the Sega CD. I dig it. Again, you guys know I'm a big fan of full motion video games. And yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Still, I would like to have the Sega CD version 1 in the collection. But it is pretty expensive. Good morning, Jeff. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. But those of you who have this Sega CD version 1 right now, good on you. We have one thing to say about Contra 3 for the Super NES. Boom! Who remembers Alien Wars? What a game. Again, look at that art. Look at that beautiful, beautiful art. Man, the Super NES era of Konami artwork almost rivals the NES era. I do like the silver of Konami's art borders better, but as far as the actual painting goes, just beautiful. Sorry. Too many toy guns mistaken for real guns. Oh yeah, I never thought of that. You're probably right. I think that's one reason it's time to wake up. It's one reason that they Nintendo took the Zapper from gray to orange. Yeah, I never thought about that. Makes sense. Makes sense. Simple Marius, what is up? Yo, how you doing, buddy? Welcome on in. We're checking out EGM issue 36 from July of 1992. Raj says, guys, could you clarify for PS2, some games were on CD and some were on DVD. DVD ROM drive is different from a CD. Right? So the laser would read different parts at different times. DVDs just mean that they can hold more info, basically. Yeah, there you go. They were on DVDs, but it was the laser itself could also read CDs, Raj. so it was backwards compatible with PS1, and you could put audio CDs in it. Pretty sure you could. You're a game developer. That's awesome. So I just searched for people who are streaming gaming. Oh, there you go. What are you working on? Let's see. Just finished updating my game and wanted to see maybe you could play my game on a live stream or something. Possibly, yeah. Just hit me up on social media. We can work something out. Well, now they just do the orange tip thing, right? Like if you go to cons and you're cosplaying, and I saw a couple of Leons yesterday at the Toronto Game Con, and their pistols were all black, but the tip was orange. Or sometimes, like if you have big swords and stuff like that, they'll make you put, I don't know, it's like a ribbon or something around it. So yeah, I don't know. Oh, there's our gloves. Our gloves are back, guys. Curb Stomp's here. Here's our gloves, and what I wouldn't give for these pink TurboGrafx gloves. So amazing. I guarantee you they will make you play better. In fact, I know they will. Excuse me. Master Temple has arrived. Good morning, my friend. Good to see you. And it's time to wake up says that the PS2 Spy Hunter car is greater than the Bond cars. Change my mind. Whatever that mean is. Tips and tricks. We are just skipping by this. Raj, did you want to put another poll up? Feel free, buddy, if you want to, if there's something on your mind. Ninja Gaiden 3 tricks. WWF Superstar WrestleMania. Desert Strike. Oh, thanks, Cutthroat. Yeah, this is a good one. Really love the cover. The Batman on the cover is awesome. There's old Die Hard video games. What is this? What is that again? Oh, is that the Amiga CD, I think? Yeah, Die Hard was that import store that was just across the border in Michigan there, where I got my Japanese Saturn. We have what do we got here? Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. Oh, so they're going through all the boss characters now, which is awesome. Simple Marius, yeah, you'd have to get at me on Instagram. I do have a Discord server, but it's only for channel members. So if you want to send me a message on Instagram, that's cool. Curbstomp says, I missed the PS2 games. So much fun. Good times. Oh, we're going to get there, buddy. We're going to get to the PS2 stuff. Yeah. But we still have Saturn, PS1 to look forward to, that whole era, and Nintendo 64, and the weird stuff. The 3DO, the Jaguar, the CDI. I know you guys are like, oh boy, I can't wait to talk about 3DO games. That sounds exciting. Hey, it's exciting to me over here. These are just all the different moves. If you guys don't know how to use Bison, Vega, Sagat, and Balrog, here you go. Street Fighter 3. There's no Street Fighter 3 yet. Oh, thanks, Simple Marius. Thanks for popping in, mate. Appreciate that. Next wave. So we got stuff coming out the next couple months. Shadow of the Beast. I forget. I think some of these do come across to North America, and I think some of them do not. Capcom's NFL football. Why do I not remember that? Capcom made a football game. I do not remember that. That sounds like something I want to check out, though. Yeah, Neil. Yeah, he was a ripoff of Tyson. Yeah. Don't know any of these. Well, Super Off Road, we know, of course. Kung Food for the Lynx is. Yeah, see, like track and field on the Game Boy. Like, why? Why? Was there really some kids out there that are like, you know what? For Christmas, I really want track and field. Don't you want Mario Land too? No. Mom, Dad, I really want track and field. Nobody ever said that. There was not one kid who said that. Tom and Jerry. Swamp Thing. Dig Dug. Come on, man. Speaking moistly, you were a Dulcim guy. Nice. I was Guile and Vega were my mains. Guile back in the World Warrior days, and then Champion I would switch between Guile and Vega. Here's our old buddy, the Game Mate. Remember this piece of crap? Track and Field 2 for NES makes sense. That game was beautiful by Konami. But I'm just talking about Track and Field on the Game Boy. Did like anybody even really ask for that? Come on. I don't think so. Maybe they did. I don't know. Here we go. Batman Returns. So there are a ton of Batman Returns games that came out on console. So we're going through Batman Return of the Joker, which isn't Batman Returns games. It's a Batman sequel game to the first Sunsoft game, but it's not an actual Tim Burton official Batman Returns games. Everyone following me over here. Mo was a Chun-Li player. Excellent. She's amazing. Curbstomp says, I got to play a 3DO once, and I have a Mortal Kombat. Oh, it had a Mortal Kombat ripoff, but I can't remember the title. It was called Way of the Warrior, and it was actually developed by Naughty Dog, who went on to do Uncharted. And you got to play a Sega Saturn, played Virtual Fighter and Panzer Dragoon. 2 solid games for sure. We're on the Street Fighter train. Neil says, I was born a Ken guy, and I'll die a Ken guy. I'm just Ken. Chun-Li for Matt. Speaking of Bison, how about the fake dollar grab fight by Vegas yesterday? What are you talking about? Oh, the Tyson fight. That's what I assume you mean. Well, both of them made out like bandits. They made 20. What? Tyson did 20 and the other guy did 30 million. Good for them, man. Good for them. For what? 10 minutes of work? It's pretty impressive, dudes. I don't watch fights. I don't watch UFC. I don't watch boxing. I, of course, heard through socials and stuff what happened, that Netflix conked out and that the Paul brother won. He beat Tyson, I guess. I don't know. Good for them for making 50 mil. Batman Returns on the Lynx. I don't remember that ever coming out. That would have been pretty slick back in the day. My buddy who had the Lynx, he would have been all over this. It must have come out. I don't remember it, though. You don't really see Lynx games too often out there. Curb Stomps with me with the Guile. Jake Paul versus Tyson was a WWE match, not a real fight. Are you suggesting it was fixed, Neil? I know a lot of people are saying that. Look, it was made to entertain, and it failed to do so from what I hear from people. I think more concerning was like, I think, okay, first of all, I gotta say, I think it was really cool that everyone who has Netflix, which is basically everyone on the planet, you were just gonna get to see it on Netflix, but obviously couldn't handle it, right? Their servers weren't anticipating everybody on the planet wanting to watch this thing, and I guess it was real jaggy. I don't know. I didn't watch it. Well, Jake Paul won, right? Moisley says it was not fixed. Tyson is too old, and he was pretty injured. Yeah, he got injured a few months back. That's why they had to reschedule it, right? I don't know. I don't know anything about Jake Paul, so I think it's great. he's made a career out of that. I mean, they started out as YouTubers, right? Both the brothers, and now they can kind of do whatever they want. The other one's in WWF. Whatever. I got no opinion, man. Packers, what's up? AJ and the Legends crew at work today, just stopping in for a quick hello. Cheers, everyone. Cheers to you, my friend, and to the Legends Club. I see all the memes where it's like Jake Paul's, he's going to like push down Buster Douglas, he's going to push him down the stairs and stuff like that for the next fight. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not a fighter, so I don't know, but is it a thing to brag about beating Mike Tyson, who's in his mid 60s now? Is that a thing to still brag about? I don't know. I know when I was growing up and Tyson was unbeatable and he was unstoppable, you couldn't even dent Tyson, man. You couldn't even touch him. He would knock people out in seconds. P90 says Axley is my favorite shoot 'em up of all time. Really? Wow. I gotta go with I agree it's very good, dude. I gotta go with Blazing Lasers on TurboGrafx. If I had to choose one shooter, space shooter. Oliver played Bison in Street Fighter Champion Edition. Every time I utilize Bison's flame torpedo, I wear down the player's life meter. Yeah. Chip damage, it's called, my friend. If they're blocking, it chips away at their health. Yeah. It's nasty, man. ActRaiser is king. Absolute king. And look at this. They're still advertising Hudson Hawk for the NES. How many issues were that? That was like months ago. I think it was like last year. Got that Hudson Hawk money. Krusty's Super Funhouse. Any, not Simpson fans, but any fans of the Simpsons games out there, I'm curious to know. The Konami arcade game is always up there when we're talking like top 20 games for the arcade. But what about stuff like this? Did you guys ever play like Krusty Super Funhouse, Bart versus the Space Mutants, that kind of thing? Bat Stan likes Ryu and Ken. There you go. They're fire. It's time to wake up. He's in a position now where, from what I hear from people, he could choose, right? I mean, there's so much money behind him that he doesn't really have to, so he gets to kind of pick, right? Is that true? I know those guys they've been around forever on YouTube, so Krusty was one of my first Super Nintendo games I played. Moise, I'll agree with you, yeah. I mean, that was one of the most anticipated fights that I can remember in a long time. Like everybody was talking about it on social media and stuff. That was like a week prior to the fight, and even the day of and after, people were just Tyson, right? And then you saw like his butt or whatever. Like, I don't know. Can you watch it now? Like, is it still on Netflix? Do you guys know? I'm just curious. Can you go back and watch it? Or was it like a one and done kind of deal? Tasmania, is this the Genesis one? Yeah, this was a good game. This was a really good game. Not a huge Bugs Bunny fan and the family of Bugs Bunny, but I do remember playing this game. And like Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion, I played it because the graphics were so awesome. Tasmania was good. No fooling over here. It was good. Oh, Jed, I don't even know what that is. Mike Tyson Mysteries is one of the most funny things I've ever seen on TV. I don't know what that is. The only thing I really know is that he was unbeatable. He got into some trouble allegedly in the 80s, and Nintendo kicked him out of the cart. And then it was like Mr. Dream or whatever at the end instead of Mike Tyson for Punch Out. Is it supposed to be funny or is it like the Osbournes? I don't even think I've heard of that. Here you go. Simpson Madness. Krusty Super Fun House. Okay, I can honestly say I've never played this one. I played all the NES Bart ones, but I think I kind of just, I mean, those games, in my opinion, weren't that great. So, like, by the time, like, Krusty and whatever other Simpson ones came out, I was just not interested, unless it was the Konami arcade game, which clearly was the same engine as the X-Men game and the Turtles game. So I'm like, all right, let's play that with the Simpsons coat of paint on it. That's fun. Second, Dale J should play all the NES Simpsons on live stream. Okay, you think so? You think so over here? Maybe we could do a members poll on the community tab. I do want to bring back some more retro. We had a full week of Fortnite last week with our sniper challenge. We are going to do it for Community Day on Saturday. But I think we're going to give Grand Theft Auto Online a week off unless the winter/Christmas events start on the Thursday update, in which if they do, then I'm going to put it on for sure. But my point is, I do want to get back to some classic stuff too. Me and P90 have been going back and forth talking about. We both did the Ninja Gaiden challenge. Our buddy TJC took it as well. Ninja Gaiden 2, I kind of wanted to skip because I wanted to go for 3. But my stipulation was that I had to have a physical copy of Ninja Gaiden 3 in order to do the challenge. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see in the next week or so. Look at this beautiful ad. Look at this beautiful ad. The most enjoyable things in life are portable. Oh, I love this. Turbo Technologies Incorporated. And there is Arizonk himself. What a wicked looking character. And by the way, anybody who's never played Arizonk and you have the means to play Arizonk, play it because it's one of the best turbo games out there. Well, I did have a goal, Neil, for that one day where if we made the goal, we would do the expansions. So it's not that I don't want to play it, but the problem is I think all of us, we kind of just got bored with it. The game just dragged on and on. I'm still interested to see what the expansion packs are like for Alien Isolation. Yes. Cutthroat, me too, man. Yeah, this thing was god tier. My opinion, miles above the Game Gear, miles above the Game Boy, because the Turbo Express took the same games as the Big Boy Turbo. So there was no diminished graphics, no altered versions of games. This was the real deal. And it had the TV tuner. Of course, then the Sega came out with the Nomad in 95, which was basically the portable Genesis. But for the time, the Turbo Express was great, but the price point, much like all things in the TurboGrafx, was just way too high for most people to get it. And unfortunately, that's what happened with it. Even now, if you find a Turbo Express in the wild, good luck. Good luck. I hope you bought your checkbook. Anybody have the checkbook? Neil says, oh, yeah, I got to do the Crew Expendable DLC. Ripley, Dallas, and Parker are all playable. Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I might do that then. I loved the game. I still love the game. I think it's one of the best horror games. We're talking about Alien Isolation. I just thought it dragged out way too long. That's it. Yeah. Herb Stomp says, I loved the TurboGrafx 16 commercials as well as Sega's commercials back in the 90s. Yeah, Sega was really aggressive. Turbo didn't have a ton, but they were good. Oops. Oh, I'm bouncing everywhere. Hang on. I'll get back to everybody. TurboGrafx 16 should be at least $80 for everyone to buy it. What do you mean? Right now? Are you talking right now? Well, Konami owns the TurboGrafx 16 right now. So in 2020, they brought out the TurboGrafx Mini. I've streamed it. It's got a ton of TurboGrafx games, and then it has a ton of PC Engine games as well. Oh, the handheld. Dude, there's no handheld's going to be $80. That thing, when Will and I saw the Turbo Express at Brody's, it was $1,000. Loose, no box, nothing with it. $1,000. Had I had the budget for it, I would have bought it because I want that thing. I've always wanted the Turbo Express, but I can't do $1,000, man. I can't. I couldn't do whatever they were asking for it back then, and I believe the Turbo Express was $299 US. Skyfall, what's up, buddy? Vasquez and Hudson DLC. Okay, I'm gonna look into it. I had to take it off my PC for just basically running out of room on my hard drive, so I had to uninstall it. But yeah, I'll look into that for sure. If you guys are into it, yeah, but like the ending was just dragging on and on and on. And I don't think my save file will still be there, but I mean, we can try and finish it. Stage 2 away from beating Arzonk. Nice. Nice, Jet. Look at this thing. The Game Boy Bodyguard. Remember this thing? Look at this. Oh no, Neil was Skyfall. Neil was talking about one of the. There's like 2 or 3 DLCs for Alien Isolation. One of them you get to play like Ripley or Dallas. Yeah, I gotta get an external, Matt. I think there's some pretty reasonably priced ones on Amazon. I might go into Best Buy though and talk to one of the associates about it though, or I could talk to you or Den. Just get one off Amazon. But yeah, I want to do external. I don't want to open up my PC and install and all that. I just do a USB external. I've heard that's good, Curb Stomp. Aliens Fire Team Elite. I think TJC, our buddy TJ was playing that this year or last year. Yeah. Yeah, I really like Aliens. Yeah, I was never a big fan of it. I never watched it until a few months ago, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's because Alien and Predator got mixed up so early that I just had zero interest. Like I have zero interest in that. I get why they did it, but you know what I'm saying, right? I just have no interest in Alien versus Predator. So it might have like skewed the way that I thought about the original Aliens. I don't know. I just never really cared about watching it. And then I watched the first one a few months ago and I just loved it. Second one was good. I don't think it was as good, but I like the horror aspect over the action, right? Joe and Mac, who played Joe and Mac? Joe and Mac is top tier Super Nintendo side scrolling gameplay. If you haven't played Joe and Mac by Data East, you have to play it. It is awesome. It's so good. That's fair, Matt. I'll talk to you guys about it then, and maybe we can find something on Amazon that's reasonable. Raj says, Matt, do you have a recommendation for an SNES X-Men scrolling game? So far, I have Mutant Apocalypse from It's Time to Wake Up. And Matt knows his X-Men. He'll know. Yeah, Joe and Mac is great. Big, colorful graphics. Very reminiscent of Bonk. Obviously, it's prehistoric times. It's a great game. We got some great detailed maps here from EGM, as always. Spider-Man and X-Men, Neil says, Raj. Spider-Man and X-Men on Super Nintendo is good too. Maximum Carnage, which is not an X-Men game, but that's also a great superhero game. Jet, your unicorn that's Arizonk or beating Arizonk. God, it's a good game. It's so good. It's so colorful and wacky. Wait, I think I've streamed it twice now. When we were doing our Turbo Graphics mini Turbo Marathon that one day, we played Arizona for quite a bit. And I think I streamed it solo for an entire stream. Shout out once again to Retromags, www.retromags.com, for preserving video game history. Look at all the different gaming magazines. We just cover EGM here on this show, right? For now. You can see we got GamePro, Mega Play, Video Games and Computer Entertainment, Nintendo Power, Game Players, Turbo Play, EGM2. We got everything. Sorry, they got everything. Make sure you guys check them out. They're awesome. Absolutely awesome website. Yeah, Maximum Carnage with that red cart, Raj. That red cart of power. Turbo plays good. What's up, JP? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. So, JP, Willie Lowe, and myself, we met up with Mr. Jeff Gignac and Destro's Desk, all at the Toronto Gaming Convention yesterday. What a blast we had. We left at 5 a.m. to avoid all the Taylor Swift traffic in Toronto. And we got around most of it. As we all know, Taylor Swift is in town for 6 dates. God bless her, man. Not very many acts can do that, my friends. That's quite impressive to have 6 dates in Toronto. But yeah, I started to upload this morning, Cutthroat. I'm started to working on it. I've started to work on it, excuse me. And I'm hoping the video will be out this week. But in the meantime, make sure you guys check out my History of Ninja Gaiden video if you haven't already. Give it a second watch. Give it a third watch. Throw a comment down. Let me know what you think. But that one was by far my favorite so far that I've made. So make sure you guys check it out. We got a $2 from Raj the Rainmaker for a great stream, Jay. Boom! Dude, much love. I can't thank you enough for supporting over and over again. It means a lot to me. So thank you. Neil, thank you for that. And Cutthroat, thanks for the 4 clicks on that. Appreciate it. You guys are the best. I'm out of here for a few days. I got some Toronto Game Con footage to piece together for you guys for a new video. So I will see you in a couple days, my friends. Be healthy, be safe. Let's start celebrating Christmas, shall we? I think we should. We need some good cheer in the world right now. We need some celebration. So I will have the streaming schedule up tonight or tomorrow, so you guys can check out and see what's coming up this week. Community Day for sure. On Saturday will be Fortnite. I know a few of you have reached out and want to play, so now's your chance. Let's do Fortnite this Saturday. Channel members, let's do it. For those of you who are not channel members, what are you waiting for? There are 3 levels, but at any level, you get gameplay with me and the community. It's so much fun. You guys have heard our hilarious hijinks. All right, legends. I love you. Peace out, my friends, and we will see you in a few days. Cheers.